We have breaking news. Artie Moreno, who bought the Angels in 2003 from Walt Disney Company, announced he's seeking to sell the team. He bought the team for $180 million, and now the team is valued at $2.2 billion by Forbes. So let's talk about this potential sale and its impact on Shohei Ohtani. First of all, how big of a deal is this news?
It's a very big deal. I mean, the Angels have things have not gone well for them over the last 7 or 8 years. And a lot of people point to Artie Moreno, the owner, as being kind of the common denominator for, why things have gone wrong. I think that's probably a little oversimplified. I don't think it's his fault, but I do think that there is a lot of opportunity for change when you have a new ownership. Certainly, it could be a higher payroll. It could be different ways that they fund different parts of the organization. All kinds of things can change. And, when things aren't going well, I think people are just eager to get any kind of change.
A lot of people criticize Moreno for not spending enough on players and development. Is that a fair statement?
I don't think it's totally fair. I think that the Angels' payroll has been consistently in the top 10 in baseball. They're not up to the level of the Dodgers or the Yankees, but they don't have the revenue of those teams. They don't have the kind of, base of fans or media dollars that those other teams get. So they probably shouldn't be quite to that level. I think their bigger problem has been that their farm system has really just not developed well enough. So they haven't been able to fill out their roster with cheaper players. So that's why they need to spend so much money to fill all those holes. You can possibly point to Artie Moreno as far as the farm system not developing just because of the funding that he's put into it, as far as the infrastructure, the money they spend on technology and scouting, nutrition, all that stuff for the minor leagues. I don't think it's entirely Artie Moreno, but I think that it is certainly a part of the question.
So how long do you think this process would take?
That's a good question. It could be 3 to 4 months at best. It could be 2 years. You just don't know. It depends how soon they find a buyer that they like and how soon Major League Baseball can approve it. Major League Baseball currently is dealing with the Washington Nationals being sold. So they might want to just kind of have one at a time that they're, working on. The Nationals announced they were going to be for sale in April. And as of last month, they were still in the quote early stages. So, that gives you an idea that these kind of things don't go quickly. I think the Angels would like to have it all completed within 6 months or so the new owner can really take charge of the future and not have too much more time drag on, but it's just hard to predict.
Why did Moreno decide to sell the team, and why now?
Well, I mean, he's 76 years old, and it seems like there's nobody in his family who wants to take over for him when he's can't run the team anymore. So if that's the case, it does make sense to sell, and the Angels certainly are a pretty high value right now, and if they don't have Shohei Ohtani in a couple of years, obviously their value is going to be less, and Mike Trout getting older makes their value less. We don't know what's going to happen with the stadium situation in the city of Anaheim. There's a lot of negotiation going on with that. So I think that if you want to sell and it's going to take some time, it certainly makes sense to kind of open the door right now because, it might not happen quickly.
Moreno was booed by home fans in May when he appeared at a ceremony to celebrate Ohtani's MVP season. What's Art Moreno's reputation as a team owner?
A lot of fans are unhappy with him because the team has not played well really in the last 7 or 8 years. And a lot of people blame Artie. They think that he's, hasn't funded the team properly. As I said before, I don't think that's totally a fair criticism, but certainly there are some things that he could have done differently that would help. When fans are frustrated that the team is losing, they look to the top. And obviously the Artie Moreno has been the common denominator through multiple managers, multiple GMs over all these disappointing seasons for the last 7 or 8 years.
He's known as a hands-on owner, right?
Yes, he's also gotten involved in some baseball decisions where, a lot of fans probably would have preferred to see him not be involved and just let the baseball people handle it. I'm not sure that's totally fair because I think that all owners do have a decision or a say in baseball decisions when they involve hundreds of millions of dollars. The owner is going to get a say in it. You can say that maybe he shouldn't have had a say in pulling the Angels out of a trade involving Jock Peterson and Ross Stripling, because that certainly was not a big dollar thing, and they should have just let the baseball people handle it. So there are some cases where the criticism is warranted and others where it's not.
And he had a lot to do with a lot of big contract signings, right?
Yeah,
Like,
obviously, as I mentioned, the owner is going to have a say when you're giving hundreds of millions of dollars. So, when they signed Albert Pujols for 240 million and Josh Hamilton for 125 million, Anthony Rendon for 235 million, the owner gets a big say in all those things.
so what you're trying to say is it's not that simple, that if you change the ownership, it's not going to solve all the problems.
Exactly. You don't know who the next owner is going to be, and you don't know what his priorities are going to be or the way he's going to want to spend his money or spend his time. So you just don't know what else is out there until you get to something else.
Fans and the media tend to look at the results and say, "Oh, it's because of the ownership." But had Moreno won, maybe let's say World Series in the last 10 years, he might be one of the greatest owners the Angels had, right?
Well, people certainly loved him in the first 10 years. The Angels were really good all the time, and he invested in Vladimir Guerrero, which obviously worked out great. He won the MVP. The Angels were consistent winners. He famously lowered beer prices, so I think everybody liked that. But then the team, stopped winning, and I think people, pointed the finger at him too for that.
Moreno hasn't talked directly with the media since 2020. Do you think that's because he had this idea of potentially selling the team?
Perhaps recently that might be why, but I think that in general, he just has not wanted to talk because things have not been going very well, honestly, for the Angels, and probably the questions would have been difficult to answer. And he chose to just sort of defer to the general managers he had at the time, first Billy Epler and then Perry Manassian. And I think that there also been some lawsuits that the Angels have been involved with. So I think that he probably felt like it was best to avoid questions on anything.
Do you think this decision had anything to do with the Angel Stadium deal falling through because of the FBI investigation into the Anaheim mayor and Tyler Skaggs' family lawsuits against the team?
Well, those are two different things. I think the Tyler Skaggs thing, probably not, because it's hard to say really where that's going to go, and it's still a long way off. But the definitely the deal with the city of Anaheim, that certainly would have been a huge money making opportunity for the Angels that then disappeared. So although they say that it's just it's his time, it's been 20 years, it's his age, I have to believe that if this deal had gone through, that he would have at least been willing to stick it out a few more years and just see what he could do with developing the area and all that.
What are the chances of the Angels staying in Anaheim? I know there's some ideas about moving the team to Las Vegas or Long Beach among fans. How likely is that scenario?
The Angels aren't going anywhere. I think that they're in too good of a market, and they have a stadium currently. It's not a great stadium, but they have one. And it's really hard to get a stadium built in California. As you look at the Oakland A's, have been trying to do it for a long time, and there's just a lot of regulations and taxes and governmental things that you've got to deal with to build a new stadium. And it's very hard to do. And you certainly would not want to move out of Southern California because it's, the second largest market in the country. So there's no place else you could go to that would be better. So I think that the Angels are staying definitely in Orange County and probably in Anaheim.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future videos. You can also watch our past videos from the description below. Hope to see you again next time.